Traditional investors like you and I have an unusual advantage when it comes to investing in an asset like Bitcoin, which has been one of the best performing assets over the last 10 years. And this advantage comes down to accessibility. Between investment mandates for corporations and asset managers, paired with the fact that older, more traditional investors don't quite understand the value proposition of new technologies like Bitcoin and the wider cryptocurrency markets. They may not understand why the network itself has value, or the downside risks of how to properly store such an asset. That's where the importance of a Bitcoin Spot Traded ETF comes in. And while the US is slow to adopt such a financial product, many countries around the world are not only launching Bitcoin Spot Traded ETFs, but they're seeing the demand for these products thrive. And one such country is Australia. And as Eric, a Bloomberg analyst, tweeted, Australia is the 8th country to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF. The Cosmos Bitcoin ETF is to list on April 27th. They expect to bring in $1 billion right off the bat, and that's equivalent to $100 billion in the US. So this begs the question, why is the SEC and the US in general dragging their feet when it comes to a spot traded ETF when there is clear and concise demand for such a financial product? The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is the closest thing that the US investors have to an actual spot traded ETF, and it's been selling at a discount for months. Will the SEC give Grayscale the green light? The SEC is said to be making a decision on converting the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into a spot traded ETF this July. And regardless of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust CEO and thousands of their investors pushing the SEC to approve the conversion to a spot traded ETF, many investors are not optimistic about the SEC's approval. And while none of us know how the SEC is going to handle this approval/denial of the spot traded ETF, I can say that any Bitcoin investor would be wise to watch the SEC and their decisions regarding a spot traded ETF here in the US markets. I have no doubt that the SEC is going to hold out for as long as they possibly can. But as stated by the CEO of Grayscale, if the SEC can't look at two like issues, the futures ETF and the spot ETF, through the same lens, then it is, in fact, potentially grounds for an Administrative Procedure Act violation. The overarching idea of this ETF approval here in the US is based on a historical fact that when a gold traded ETF was introduced to the markets, the value of gold went up dramatically in a short period of time.